recording and it started. Yep. And let me also quickly share the screen. Okay. Okay, so can we go with the random user.me API for today?
Yes.
Okay, done. So let's go. So if you have any query, just ask me. And how did anyone complete yearly report generation? So you need to work parallelly for yearly report generation. You should not stop. Okay. So use case will be simple. Now I need to make an API call. So for every API call that I make, I will get a value, right? A user details. Okay. Let me show you that. Okay. And here you go. Can you see the details?
Yes.
Okay. So again, for people who didn't join yesterday, an API is again a URL where you will get a JSON information or XML information. We will not have any UI for it. So this is how you will communicate between different applications. For example, if you are having a Paytm application, you can book buses, you can also book trains, you can also book flights, right? So someone will maintain that API. So Paytm will show you the details and it will do information or it will book details for you and it will send it to the theaters and it will send it to the bus owners. It will also send the details to um, IRCTC, everything. So that information we are trying to fetch using UiPath. Okay, so why do we need to understand API integration? Flavia, you can talk, Flavia.
Sir, I haven't seen that video, so
That's
just
fine, Flavia.
uh,
But
I think these informations are required to get granular um, details.
okay, so why RPA is being used is see, RPA works on a desktop, right? That robot works only on a desktop. Okay, the main purpose of RPA is to uh, okay, if I want to develop some application, so normally the development time for any normal application would be 3 months to 4 months. Okay, but with respect to RPA, we can directly integrate or we can directly use those applications, right, with the UI automation. Yesterday or day before, uh, yeah, we created client security hash code. So the client security hash code we developed using UI interactions, like we went into a website and we navigated through a particular UI, and then we extracted the data and we completed the use case. Now, if I want to integrate that with any different application, so can I do that without APIs? API in the sense, if you cannot get any JSON information, is there any other way where I can get information? Ajay, since you have completed, you will be able to answer.
Through UI you can get. If
Other
not,
than the UI.
uh, if not, you can get through API only.
API is not available for it, right?
Okay.
Okay, so let's bring out here some use cases. Use case one. Okay, so different ways of implementation is what I'm trying here. We are trying to integrate two applications. Okay, so first application is having API. Okay, second application is legacy application without um, API or API access, API or web service access. So web service is also like API, but that's a different representation. Okay, don't take in anything else. But API and web services will give out information only. Okay, now the actual requirement is bot need to make API request, and it will get all new user details. Okay, and for every user, bot need to create a user ID or user account in legacy application. So this can be updated in your resumes. Listen properly. Okay. So what are the two applications that we are doing? An API. The second one is a legacy application. So API can be so you can make an API request using HTTP calls. But with legacy application, that should be done only with respect to UI. Only a robot need to log into an application, navigate through the screens, and it need to update the information. Can you understand, or can you understand the scenario?
Yes, Ajay.
Yes.
Zakir?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Because if you place this into your resume, this will be very helpful to answer as well. And this is a bit complex resume, a complex use case as well. Now, user account need to be created in legacy application is the requirement. Now, what are the different questions that you are going to ask to a user if this is the requirement?
What is
Come on.
username,
Okay, just a second. You mean to say legacy application credentials?
Oh, okay. That's good.
Hmm?
Now API is requesting to get the details, right? Some new
Yeah.
user details.
Yeah.
From somewhere else, I
So
guess.
for that,
Mm.
mm, new user details.
So first question is, what is the authentication method of API?
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
enterprise applications will not be open always.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay. What are authentication methods of API? Okay. Next, are there any limitations for an API for a particular user? Because there can be limitation that one user can request only 300 to 400 requests per day.
Hmm.
Okay. See, why do business keep this is? Let's say that there is an error and bot continuously took or it's trying continuously make API calls. Someone have written a bad code. Okay, they haven't checked the code and they have made 200 requests within a single uh, minute. That can be done. That can be done because we don't have the UI, right?
Hmm.
Continuous requests can be made. So these can be limitations. So you need to ask them. Next, what is the output JSON structure? Okay, so why do we need this?
So it will be key value pair only, right?
Key value pair only. So this is required to identify keys and values that we want. Okay, so for example, if customer says that okay, you need to get the information, like okay, you will get all these information in your um, yeah, okay, run plugins, JSON. Yes. So I need to get a name, location. So you are asking like, okay, is this the structure that we want, or is there any structure that can come in?
Hmm.
So we are fixing on the structure so that we will not have any errors in future. And even if we have errors, we can say that okay, this is the structure you have given, and the output should be in the structure. If you don't give in the structure, bot will fail.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, so business said that okay, get a password from this, and all of a sudden, since password is secure, we will not give you the password. Now, bot will search for password keyword, but it will not get it. Okay,
Okay.
now it will be a failure, right? It bot cannot
Hmm.
accept it, or we cannot accept it. Then we can go ahead and say, see, this is what you want, and this is what you have given us. Since you have changed it, this is getting failed to failure. If you have new requirements, give it, and we will update the bot.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's one. Next, so what are the other general questions that we normally ask for an RPA? General questions I ask. I said.
Volume of data, how
How
frequent
frequent?
it is.
Volume of data per day. Okay. Then
How frequent it is going to run.
frequency of bot execution.
Yeah.
Advantages.
Hmm? So all these questions are general questions you definitely need to ask. Okay, next.
Any,
Is
Sorry, I didn't get you.
any advantages of using API?
Advantages of using API.
Yeah.
So that is a requirement. The data you can get only with API.
Okay. Do you testing this API versioning?
Mm. So we will not test it, we will consume the API.
is the process which we are automating, is it fixed, or does that change after every 15 days or something?
Are there any process changes?
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Types of APIs in the sense only three only, right? No authentication, username, password in it.
Authentication methods, yes. There is also auth 2, but that's not required for now.
Okay. Types of APIs. Yeah, that's it was from our side.
Okay. So what is legacy application? What is the application that bot need to create user in? Because till now we haven't discussed about it, right?
Oh,
So from here, legacy applications will get. Okay. So is the application bot need to be created user in, and does it have authentication? Because there can always also be situation like uh, the application can be accessible only in office environment, so it doesn't have a user ID and password. There can be some situation like that. Okay.
Mhm.
Next, what else? Are there any peak seasons
Hmm.
for this requirement? So you need to ask like, okay, now the bot is running for 10 users per hour. Is there any situation that it can execute 500 users per hour? Okay,
So Vajaran, when we ask this question, are there any peak seasons? So does that mean we are going to deploy some auto scaling mechanism with the robot?
we can deploy multiple robots at a single shot, right?
Okay. So they can consume it from the queues, correct?
Exactly. So even we are asking this question to scale our robots in future.
Hmm.
I cannot go ahead and create a new robot or new code when there is peak season, right? Bot should
Exactly.
auto scale.
Hmm.
Okay. So we are asking this question. Okay. Let's go ahead and see our requirement now. Uh, where is this? So these are the questions that will be asked. Okay, let's go with implementation plan, implementation ideas. Okay, I'll go back to task capture, build a diagram. Okay, and then here we go, random user API, save as. So team 6. Now we are going with new item, random user API. Process flow. See, we are starting with the process flow to make sure everyone understand the use case. Now I'm not going with RE framework. Okay, you create RE framework. Now, first one, make API call. Why are we making API call first?
To get the user details.
Exactly, because the information, the main information, first we are getting only from the API, right? Okay, so what if we don't have information from this?
There is some issue with the authentication.
Okay, so got user. So anything, if we didn't get a user, then it will be an exception. User details available. Okay, so no will always be sent email with error details to stakeholders. So in this use case, we will also send some email. No. So what if user details are available?
It will extract.
Create the legacy user in legacy application.
Instead of doing that, extract JSON details, extract user details required. So we may not need all the details, right? What are the
Okay.
details that we want is what we need to see. So from here, can we get name,
Yeah.
gender, location, and email? Let's say we want only name, gender, location,
Email.
email. So other details we are not required or we are not interested because these are enough for a user creation. Okay. Now what do we need to do? Now here we can go ahead and create user with results or with user details. Okay. Now after completion of user details, what it will do? Can it go for the next item?
Yeah.
Okay. So till how many items can it go for a next item? It can be an endless loop, right? It will become an endless loop. Okay. So here, while making user details, we can see or we can have a validation like uh, what is the current user while execution itself. What is the current user uh, threshold met? This is the threshold. Let's say that its threshold value. So in this threshold, it's saying that threshold is current count is less than threshold. Count is less than threshold. Yes. If no, then stop.
Threshold means
So I can say that create only 10 users for an execution.
okay.
And current count is, if it is executing for the first time, then the count will be 1.
Less than
If it
10.
is
Yeah.
executing for the 10th time, the count will be 10.
Right, right, right.
Okay. So I'm just creating a logic so that it will not go into endless loop.
Okay.
Okay. But can you see the main idea here? We are making an API call. If user details are available, then extract the details and create the details. If the user details are not available, then what am I doing? I'm sending out an email.
Right.
Okay. So for the legacy application, let's use a notepad.
Okay.
Okay. Because in notepad also will not be able to access anything, right? In notepad, there will be no UI other than this particular screen.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll use notepad for that. Okay, let's go ahead and make the API calls and do everything. Test home. Did you understand the use case or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Flavia, Lakshmi.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, if you can keep this use case as it is in your uh, resume, and this can be a important use case for you. See, all the use cases are simple. You need to understand how can you answer it to a interviewer. That's it. Okay. Let's go ahead with the process. Now I'll start with the process and you complete this in RE framework. RP developer in 30 days. Okay. Where is this? Team 6, random user API, code. Select folder, create. So can I do something like this? I create a API call and I complete the process. And after creation of details, can I just end it? So if I just end it, then how many results will I get? Or how many users can I create? See, what if I deleted this threshold and I added this particular value like this? Now, what will be the loop? How the bot will execute?
It will not execute. It will continuously looping.
No, it will just by creating one user, it will.
Yeah, yeah. On your case, it will go to the end process.
Exactly. Now, how can I loop it for the next time? Now I want you to think on base of orchestrator.
Okay.
So can I schedule this process at multiple times in a day? Or can I say that, okay, for every 1 hour, go ahead, create a new user. Can I do that?
Yes.
Even
Yes, you
that will
can.
be a loop, right?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, so think on different perspectives of how you create these solutions. It's not only one way that you create it by using loop inside the code. Okay,
Okay.
maybe business user wants to create only one. So every transaction, for every transaction, it need to create only one user. Okay,
Mm.
so that will be a job for every 5 minutes. So bot will start its execution every 5 minutes. It will check for a user and it will create one and it will close. Next time it will create a new user.
So is it possible, Vajrang, to get like for example, if I convert it into dispatcher and performer, so with the help of dispatcher, I will able to get the number of new user
Yeah.
on that portal and then give this performer the threshold value and then it will do that job.
Then there is no requirement for threshold, right? The you need to have threshold in the dispatcher because in the dispatcher you need to make API calls.
Ah,
Okay, and you are adding it to queues. Now there is no requirement for API.
ah, you mean threshold? There is no requirement for
You
threshold.
know,
Okay.
no requirement for threshold in performer.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay, so performer will do like this. It will pick up from each item from the queue,
exactly.
execute, and then done. Okay.
Done. That's completed. If there is no item, it will not create a user.
Hmm, that's nice. Yeah.
Okay, so these are different ways of creating a solution or of how you need to understand the code. Okay, see, you immediately now you have discussed about three different kinds of solutions of creating this particular this particular use case. Okay, so I'm using a flowchart here. Okay, so what is the difference between flowchart sequence as a state machine? And where do we use them?
When there is no if and buts, then use sequence.
So when it is a
Uh,
linear process, or you can say that when the
See.
process is simple, like in a particular application, you're just entering the information,
yeah, there is
like
no loop back. So in that
no
case, you
loop
can use
or no
sequence.
conditions, or
Yeah.
even if there is condition, only one condition, then you can go with it. There you cannot see the pictorial representation of the flow. Here
Hmm.
in this, you can see the pictorial representation, right? What's happening. But if you
Yeah.
add the same details in a sequence, it will be a like linear sequence. There will not be any pictorial representation.
Yeah.
Okay. While in state machine, if it can be used for a complex process, because again states, if you have observed in RE framework, there are different. There is a final state. There is a state that gives out transitions to multiple different states and all. So for complex processes, you can go with state machine. One question: can you create RE framework in sequence also or not?
It will be very complex, I guess.
So it will not be easy to view it and
Yeah.
understand it.
Yes, I
Okay.
agree.
Okay, let's go with API call. So to use APIs, what is the important thing that we need to do? Click on manage packages. Okay, implementation ideas we discussed. Now we are discussing with coding. Okay, so first one, create a project from UiPath templates. Next, are we using APIs?
Yes.
So for that, we need to import a package called UiPath.web.
Web.api.
Okay, so you need to install this package. Okay, what do we need to do? Click manage packages. Okay, then search for UiPath.web.api.activities and then install. Okay, so is it done? Now you can see on the left side there is UiPath web.activities. So why do we need this is, if you search web here, okay, if you search web here, you are going to get multiple content like HTTP request, SOAP request. I said right, there is also something called web service request. For web service, you are going to use SOAP request. For HTTP, you are going to use, here you go. Where is this? APIs. Okay. SOAP request is used for what?
Web request.
Web service
Web
request.
services.
Okay. Next, API, HTTP request
API request.
is for API request. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Now let's go. So types of requests. Okay. Great. Now let's make a HTTP request because this is HTTP call, right? API call, right? We need to make.
Yes. API. Yes.
Okay. And also let's try to, what is the URL? So here you are seeing the endpoint URL, right? What goes into endpoint? What goes into endpoint?
URL.
APS URL.
API URL to be called.
Yes.
Okay. So here what is the API URL that we need to call?
Random user dot.
Random user API.me. So my question is, okay, what if there are 10 machines and 10 machines make a API call? Will there be no duplications of the data? What is your answer for that?
It will be random.
Exactly. The application itself is giving out random data. So every time you make a API call, you will get only new information. You will not get any previous information.
Right.
Okay. So you need not worry about duplication here. But if there is a situation, then you need to, of course, store it somewhere and see if the data is already available, then don't add that data. For this use case, there is no need to search like that. Okay. Uh, okay. So here, let's go ahead and give out the URL and you can, so see here, authentication, there are three types. Simple, auth1 and auth2. This is bearer token, this is simple HTTP authentication, this is none. So we don't have any authentication for this, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
click on preview. So can you see the results?
Okay.
Okay. And then hit on OK. So now we have a result. Okay. Now I want everyone to replicate it till here. Give me 10 minutes, 5 minutes of time. I'll be back. Open your machines. Zakir, can you share your screen? and work?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Please share your screen for others, and then you work till here. Whatever we discussed till here. Others, please guide him if he is going wrong, and give me 10 minutes.
Are you all able to see my screen, guys?
Yeah, yeah,
Thank
Jack.
you. Yeah, thank you.
You may need to increase the font. Okay, leave it. I can see it properly. That's fine.
This version only, right? Preview.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yep, sir, yes.
Hmm. Uh, can you please help me with the URL? Can somebody? What was the URL, guys?
Yeah, HTTPS.
HTTPS.
Yeah, column slash. Yeah, randomuser.me
It's
Ran.
preview we are doing, right?
dot me.
Krishna.
Yeah. Preview.
Zakir, I've just messaged in our
Ah, okay. Thank you.
DC.
This one, right? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. SSL is checked, right? Okay. Client get
Authentication is none only.
none only. Okay. Now what shall I do? Preview.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can just have a view.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we can go for okay. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So what will be the output? Status code option, simple authentication, result.
Result.
Okay, where my output? So it's a string. Then we have to pass it to JSON.
Yeah, JSON.
It's like a JSON.
Deserialized JSON, I guess. It will be deserialized JSON.
Deserialize, right?
Mm.
Where and here I will get
Mm.
control K where J object.
G.
Now it is a JSON object. Hmm. Now let's say log the message. Oh, he said to do till here, right? We
Yeah,
should
I
do. Yeah, so let's just stop.
maybe we can just
Let's
wait it.
wait. Let's wait.
Do that. We'll check whether it is correct or not.
Yeah, okay, let's see.
Going to come outside.
Okay, then log the message. And what should we log? Log it as a warning. Now, J, where J object dot, what shall I put?
It's in J object. Dot two object is
I forget how to I think we have deserialize as well.
മനസ്സിലാവുന്നുണ്ടോ ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത്?
Okay, let's do that simple string first. Display that how it is coming, where my output, save it, run it. Okay, so there is an output, is in warning, where is, okay. So we can pick, I guess, gender rather than gender.
name.
It's name only, right? Or first name or last name?
Oh yeah. It will be in the array format.
This is a JSON, right? But somehow it is giving the output as, or let's see if we have any arrangement here which can give us in JSON body format XML. It's an XML. Result status code. I don't know if we can convert that to JSON and then convert it to deserialized JSON.
DCL.
So it is just giving deserialized, but right now this string is not at all in JSON format. It is something else. It's XML.
DCL just to give string.
See in the configuration if I have request method get a parameter.
Maybe we can just give one, sub value and then see if the key value, and we can see if it is coming or not.
Key value. Where shall I give that?
There in the log, like
you mean to say in the deserial? Okay, so let's say first. The object.
So were you able to find some data? using API?
Yeah, we are getting this.
Okay.
So just thinking because the output of HTTP is in a string format.
Okay.
So I don't know if we can apply deserialized JSON on that because
Yes.
it looks like an XML output.
It's a JSON output.
JSON output, really? Let me then try this. It's giving an issue.
Yeah. So let me do it for you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for trying. And here you go. So there can be in a JSON there can always be two types of results for every JSON.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One is an object, the second one is a JSON array. Two types of outputs. First one is JSON object. So this will have a key and value. Okay. The second one is JSON array. It can contain similar keys and objects. A list of JSON objects. Okay. Now when we go back to this particular item, can you see that there is a square bracket over here? Other brackets are flower brackets, but there is a square bracket here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And can we also see the same
In the end.
in the end? So this is one result. Okay. Now if you go and see with a different URL, so we have this one as well, right? Food API. If I make a call for this one, so can you see the result here? Okay, let's add it to this one, plugins JSON viewer format JSON. Now, plugins JSON viewer format show JSON. Okay, so can you see that there are how many results here? 0 to
9.
9.
9.
So each result will have the same structure. Country,
Hmm.
country, city, city, address, address. So when we want to add multiple JSON objects of similar kind, then we will use array for it. Okay. Now let's go back to our this one. So how can you get information from this? Okay. So we need to get the first object information, right?
Gender.
So if you see here, this is first object in the array. This bracket, it will close at the end, and this is first object. And for this one, this is the second object. Okay. And for this one, this can be a third object. Okay. So to get this information, results information, gender, so how can you get? Normally, we need to call the value something like this. Object with key. So if I want to get results over here, so this is the key, right? So I need to get something like how to get values. I can get values using the key mentioned using key notation or dot notation you can get. We'll give JSON objects. Index will give JSON array objects. So let's try how to get these values. Now to search for it, let's use something that you have already used, that is JSON, serialized JSON. So what is serializing JSON? Everything that you see here is a text. You cannot get the values using
Key
um,
value.
key value pair. To make it key value pair or to convert into a dictionary, we will use this particular activity. So from here, we will get a property called, so here in the result, let's go ahead and give str raw information. Okay, and here we'll pass in str raw information, and here let's go ahead j object underscore information. Okay, and what is the output of this one?
JSON object.
JSON
Exactly.
object.
So a key value pair will be an object, a result. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a log message over here. So there is different way I'm going to explain you this one. But let's go ahead and see the result. Okay, here the message is JSON object, J object information. I said you that
Yeah.
dot notation, right? Dot. So what is the result? So this is the key that I want. Okay, of, so it should be in double quotes. So it's not dot notation, it's in key notation. Results dot toString. Okay, I'll keep a breakpoint over here, and let's change this one to key notation. Okay, so let's debug it and let's see the values. Okay, now I'm going to use immediate panel so that it will be easier for you to understand. str raw information. So can you see all the results in a string format?
Yes.
Okay, now after it is converted to a JSON object, so now everything is an object here. See, object, so it has two objects. First one is result, the second one is info. If you just plugins JSON viewer format JSON, okay, plugins JSON viewer, so JSON viewer, could not rephrase. Okay, plugins JSON viewer format JSON, plugins JSON viewer format JSON, and then show JSON viewer. Okay, so how many values do you have? Can you see that there are two results out of this? Results and info are two results. So that is the reason we are seeing here there are two objects. Okay. Now, if I want to get the information, see, results information I want, right? So J object information of, what is the key?
Results.
Results dot toString.
Okay.
Okay. Now are you getting all the results here?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Results. So there is one more key, that is info. Let's also try with info. Are we getting the results here as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Object information.
Now, after results, everything is in a array. Results contains an array, right?
Yeah.
So to get the zeroth information, so if you see on the left side there is zeroth information, you need to send in something called an index, results of 0. Now if you see or observe the value, so this is result of 0. You can see an object directly over here, right? A square, a flower bracket. Earlier also we made a call, and what it started with? So
Zero.
first we are navigating to results. Then at 0th index we have this one. So it will show result from here.
Yes.
Okay. Now if I want to get gender out of this, so here there is no square bracket again. Is it right?
Yeah.
So I can directly go ahead and call in gender. 0 of, is it a key notation or a index notation?
Index notation. Okay.
This is not an array. If it is an array, then it will be enclosed in square brackets.
What is that zero for, Vajran? Sorry, I missed that.
0 is the index of an array.
So this is the first element in the within the array. Okay.
Correct. And this is complete object. We navigated through this object. Now we need to
Ah.
get to gender.
Hmm.
We're
Okay.
giving the key.
That is the
Exactly.
key.
So
Key.
let's give it gender. Okay. So are we getting a result?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So now what if I want title or first name?
It's the same way to give.
So should I give gender of or what?
Name dot one zero or one something. No, but that is not an array. Okay.
Name.
So so till here we have 0. From here we'll go with name.
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 Name. Okay. Now when I give this one, I'm getting all the values, but I want only
Yeah.
the first name. So what should I do?
Again, put first after the name.
Again,
Index.
put a property. It's not index. Index is only for arrays.
Yeah. So, okay, so that is a thumb rule. Okay.
Okay. First. Okay.
So see here, first we went to the results. Since we have an array, we are going with 0. Then it
Mhm.
is name, and then we are going to first name.
Yes.
Okay. Now if I want latitude, how should I do that?
Location. No. Location coordinates, then latitude, I guess.
Okay. Let's give it a try. So can I remove all this? Again, I
Yeah.
need to go from 0.
Yes.
Location. So I'm getting all the values. Then go with
Mhm.
coordinates. Right?
Perfect. Yeah.
Now I'll go with latitude.
Yes.
Latitude.
Now, did you understand how to traverse in a JSON?
Yep. Perfect.
Everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the details that I want from the code is, what do I want? Name, gender, location, email. Okay. Now let's go ahead and assign the values. Let's stop it. I'll take only 5 more minutes of time. So let's go ahead and add multi-assign here. So what is the first one? str name. Can I do it?
Yes.
Second one, gender. Okay. What is the third one?
Location.
Location and email. Fourth one is email.
Email.
So here, let's go ahead and give the values. Name can be written by J object, information of results of 0
Zero.
Text
of.
of name.
So see here,
No.
results of name.
Name.
But if
Yeah.
you give only name, then you will get as a object.
Yeah.
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 But how to get like title, first name and last name? So I can
First
give
name.
something like this.
Title.
Title. And can I
First.
concatenate?
Yeah.
So first I'll get name, second title, first, and then last. ToString, toString. So if you just observe, so if I just keep an underscore, then it will help me to go to next lines. Okay, now can you see the details? So every time we are going with name and then we are going with title, first name and last name.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
just I'm concatenating the values. Now gender, how can I go with gender? Results. So gender is directly from the results.
Yeah.
So do I need title?
No. Remove. Start to string.
Okay. Now if I want to get location, what is the location?
Location, we have to include street, number, and name.
Yes, street, number and name. And okay, let's go ahead and do it. Street, number, name. So from here, results of 0, location, street, number.
Number. Yeah.
Okay, results of 0, location. So I'll go with street,
Street.
sorry. And the next one is
Concord.
number. Okay, and what can we concatenate with? So we are going to get only street number, right? Let's also concatenate name here.
Name.
Okay, so we are concatenating name and number. The last one, let's go ahead and give it the last name. So email. If you just open this, we can see email is directly below gender, below results.
Yeah.
Okay, so how we got gender in the same way, we can get these values as well. So instead of going all, let's go with email. Dot toString. Okay, so do you remember that we need to write everything in a notepad?
Okay.
Write file, write text file. So what are we going to write over here?
STR name.
Now dot toString of ddmm y dot txt. So every time it creates a new file. Okay, and the text, what are we having text? str email plus str gender
Your
plus
STR
str
location,
location
STR name.
plus str name. Okay, can we run this and see?
Yeah.
Run file. Okay, this is completed. See how quick the code executed. So that is the use of APIs. It will not use any front end. Can you see? Email,
I
mail, location, Mr. Idris Brandon. Okay, so how can we add new lines to this? Let's hit a enter after every plus. So there is something called VB new line plus VB new line plus VB
BB.
new line plus. So every time it adds some value, it will add a new line to it.
Yes.
Now we have seen Brandon, right? Now will the information be changed when we execute next time?
Yes.
Because this is a new value again.
Yeah.
Okay. Now were you able to understand how an API is being used and what is deserialized JSON and all?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I want you to go ahead and work with the same videos that I have shared because there we have downloading images as well. So this is the playlist. So there are 4 videos and sit today and work on these 4 videos. Whatever we have discussed, the same will be available in the video.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
small quick notes. After we get the information, store information in text file. Okay, done. Now I want you to complete this particular use case so that we can complete the third use case for our program.
Okay.
Okay, first use case is um, automation challenge. Second use case, I asked you to work on 2 use cases, that is with respect to UI automation. Okay, client security hash and yearly report generation. And the third
Yeah.
one is with APIs.
API.
Okay, so we are not wasting our time, and you are going to get something that is not there in the videos and which you cannot get easily through videos.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, okay. So how did you feel with today's session? Is it useful?
Yeah.
Yes.